Official request for clarification on Trump's South African refugee program sparks controversy. July 25th, Washington. A top-ranking official at the U.S. Embassy in South Africa sought clarification from Washington earlier this month regarding the eligibility of non-white applicants for a refugee program primarily designed for white South Africans. The program was instituted by President Donald Trump's executive order in February, specifically targeting Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. The term Afrikaners refers to an ethnic group mainly descended from Dutch settlers. On July 8th, Embassy Charge d'Affaires David Green sent a diplomatic cable inquiring if claims from other minority groups alleging racial discrimination, such as colored South Africans who are Afrikaans speakers, could be processed. In South Africa, the term colored is used to describe mixed-race individuals, a classification legacy from the apartheid era. Spencer Chrétien, the top official in the State Department's Refugee and Migration Bureau, responded days later via email. He specified that the program was designed for white individuals, according to 3 sources privy to the email's content. The exact wording of the email, however, could not be independently confirmed by Reuters. The State Department, in a comment made on July 18th, did not directly address the email or the diplomatic cable. It stated that U.S. policy considers both Afrikaners and other racial minorities for resettlement. This aligns with the guidance on the department's website posted in May, which stated that applicants must be of Afrikaner ethnicity or be a member of a racial minority in South Africa. Neither Chrétien nor Green responded to requests for comment. This internal exchange between the embassy and the State Department, previously unreported, illustrates the ambiguity surrounding the implementation of a policy aimed at aiding white Afrikaners in a racially diverse nation. The country includes not only mixed-race Afrikaans speakers, but also white English speakers. To date, 88 South Africans have been resettled under this program, including an initial group of 59 who arrived in May. Another 15 are expected by the end of August, according to one source. President Trump, a Republican who regained his presidential seat promising extensive immigration reform, had indefinitely suspended refugee admissions globally shortly after assuming office. He insisted that the U.S. would only welcome refugees capable of fully and appropriately assimilating. Following this, he issued an executive order directing the U.S. to resettle Afrikaners, citing them as victims of violence against racially disfavored landowners. This claim, which resonates with far-right narratives, has been disputed by the South African government. The implementation of this executive order has sparked internal debates among U.S. diplomats regarding which racial groups could qualify for the program. In his July 8th cable, Green provided an overview of the different racial and ethnic groups in South Africa before seeking further guidance. Besides Afrikaners and mixed-race South Africans, he also mentioned indigenous South Africans, the Khoisan people, and expressed that the Jewish community had shown interest. However, in South Africa, Jews are considered a religious, not racial, minority. The cable also prompted the Trump administration to clarify whether the policy is exclusively for whites and, if it includes other affected minorities, the criteria for qualification. Chrétien, a known conservative who has written op-eds supporting the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 plan to revamp the federal government, is a senior official in the State Department's Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration. According to the 2022 census data, Blacks account for 81% of South Africa's population, colored South Africans 8%, Indians 3%, and Afrikaners and other white South Africans 7%. Despite this, the latter group owns 3/4 of the privately held land. In May, When questioned about the program, Trump denied giving preferential treatment to Afrikaners because they are white. They happen to be white, but whether they are white or black makes no difference to me, he stated. A White House official, responding to a request for comment, said that the administration's policy mirrors Trump's executive order. We will prioritize refugee admissions for South African citizens, including Afrikaners and other racial minorities in South Africa who have been targeted by the discriminatory laws of the South African government, the official stated. Claims that white South Africans, a minority group, are being discriminated against by the black majority have circulated in far-right circles for years. White South African-born Elon Musk, a U.S. citizen and former White House aide during the initial 4 months of Trump's administration, has echoed this sentiment. The South African government has dismissed these allegations of persecution and a white genocide. There is no evidence to support claims of widespread race-based attacks in the country. In a contentious May meeting in the Oval Office with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, Trump falsely presented a printed image of a Reuters video from the Democratic Republic of Congo as proof of mass killings of white South Africans. The South African Chamber of Commerce reported earlier this year that 67,000 people were interested in the program.